Hey everyone! I've been gone for a while. I had a brilliant idea of taking up roller skating, hoping I would look as cool as this guy, maybe get in shape. My dog and my daughter absolutely loved roller skating with me, but me and gravity aren't really friends. And I fell. And I broke my wrist, my right one, which is my dominant hand. Then I had to have surgery. And then I had a titanium plate installed into my wrist. So let's get on with the video. This first project, I'm going to make a haunted mansion. And so I'm going to take two of these doll houses, and with one of them, I'm just going to remove the roof so I can connect the two of them. And since there's a little bit of a gap on the bottom one, then I just take some utility shears and then I just cut that part off. And then I just hot glue the two pieces together and they fit nice and snug. And then I end up just taking out the window panes, and then I'm just going to hot glue them back in different directions to make them look spooky and creepy, even though with those bright colors, they don't really look that way right now, but I promise you they will. All of these projects that you see today are from previous videos that I have uploaded, and these are just some of my favorite projects that I have made, and so I hope you enjoy. So then I spray painted the house white just to give a good base coat, and then I'm just going back in with some black chalk paint and painting the entire house. That way we can see all of the detail and obviously make it nice and spooky. And I did paint it kind of haphazardly. I wasn't going for a perfect look on this. And then I took some popsicle sticks, painted those black, and then I'm just going to, with my miter shears, cut them down. And then I'm going to use these as some, basically to board up some of the windows to give it an even more spooky look. And I hot glue those a little crookedly as well. And then I'm taking some white wax, and this is going to really bring out all of the detail in the house and really give it that grayish, dirty, spooky look that I was going for. And then I'm just going to hot glue it to the base of this little sign that I used for a different project that I'm just repurposing. And then I took some moss and I spray painted it black. And then I'm just to adhere it into the, I guess it would be the front yard of the mansion. I'm just going to use some of my Gorilla spray glue and make sure that that stuff stays in place and doesn't go anywhere. And then I'm going to take some of these little ceramic pumpkins, and I'm just going to attach those to the front yard. And then I have some of these little sisal trees that I spray painted black and attach those as well to the front yard. And then I took apart some skeleton heads and hands, and I'm just attaching those to the front yard and also inside the house so you can see them in the windows. And then I have these little cats that I painted black and then gray to make them look old and gross. And then I made little tombstones using some foam board, and I painted them gray, and then I was just adding those also. And then this is how it turned out. This next project is probably one of my favorite wreaths that I have made for any season. And so I'm just taking this witch hat wreath form, and all I'm going to do for the top part is just take some nautical rope, and I did hot glue the top part every few times to make sure that it does have a good adherence to it and it doesn't move. And then I just I probably used about 3 packs of it, and I just wrapped it all the way down to the top part of the hat. Look at those wrists moving so beautifully. One day I'll be back there. And then for the bottom part, I'm going to take some of this, I think it's called, I don't remember what this stuff is called. Oh my gosh. Tulle? I don't know. And then some ribbons, and I'm just cutting them down, and I'm cutting them all down to the same size, about 12 inches, give or take, maybe 10. I made this 2 years ago, so forgive me. And so I just kind of made a bunch of the cuts, and then I just rolled the tulle from end to end, and then I just attached it using some zip ties, and I go back and forth between the tulle and then the bunch of ribbon. So I do, as you can see here, so I do the black and white check and the tulle, and then I do a bunch of the ribbon in the different colors, and then I do the purple tulle, and that's just kind of my pattern. And then obviously at the end I have to cut the zip ties and then floof out the ribbon and the tulle. But I wanted this to be as fluffy as possible at the bottom, so I am leaving a little bit of room for the floof, but I am making them pretty close together as well. And then I'm just taking this MDF sign, and I'm just slapping on a generous amount of glue, since this wreath is going outside, and some scrapbook paper that I cut out to size, and I'm just attaching it to the front of the sign. And I did add a layer of Mod Podge to the front of this because it is going outside, and just to ensure that it does stay. And then I just hot glue that to the nautical rope on the top of the hat. And this is how it turned out. Extra floofy on the bottom. And I did add a little bit of floof at the top just to kind of tie both ends together. And I absolutely love this, and I hope you do too. This next project, I got this canoe on clearance, and so as soon as I saw it, I knew I wanted it to be a coffin. So I took everything out of it, and then I spray painted it black. And then I'm just going to add some creepy cloth. Try saying that 3 times fast. Some creepy cloth to the bottom of it. And then I'm just going to add this little witch that I did change out the bow or the ribbon at the top of the hat. And then I made a little broomstick for the ghost. And then I'm just adding some black spider rings, but they were actually orange, and I painted them black to the front of her. And this sign can be hung or leaned up against a wall or just laid flat. But I made sure to hot glue everything down so nothing moves. And then one little gemstone spider to the top of the hat. And this is how she turned out. This project was really fun to make. I just took some clear bottles and I just dumped some black paint in the inside of them. And then I just rolled the paint to ensure that all of the inside was completely covered. Now you can easily spray paint or paint the outside of the bottles, but it definitely holds up better if you paint the inside. I made these 2 years ago and they are still going strong and still look just as fresh as the day I made them. These are fun to make with kids too, because my daughter had a blast making these with me. And then I just printed out some images that I just found online. And so I'm just cutting them out and I wanted them to look as old and vintage as possible. And then I just Mod Podged them to the bottles. And since it is a matte Mod Podge, then I went around the entire bottle just to kind of give it a more matte finish since the bottles are glass and a little shiny. And then that way they kind of gave them a little bit of an older look as well. And this is such an inexpensive, fun, easy project to do, and you can make any color and it's just a lot of fun. I would recommend using older or inexpensive paint for this instead of like your good paint. But I think they just turned out very cute. This next project I made last year and it was a lot of fun. I just took one of these little dollar store babies and I spray painted it white to give it a ghostly look. And then I painted its body just using like a normal color, like a neutral color, I guess. And then I'm just taking some of this thicker floral wire and making sure that it fits in his hand. And then I did end up spray painting the floral wire white, and then I just attached this little mini Christmas ornament to it so it looked like his little red balloon. And then I hot glued some little red pom-poms to the body. And then for his hair, I'm taking some of this thick twisted yarn and I just cut a bunch to the size that I thought was appropriate for the length of his hair. And then I just took one of these little hook tools that you can get at the dollar store and I just shoved it in to the doll's head. It sounds pretty bad. But I did trace an outline with pencil of how I wanted his hairline to be. And so I just kind of followed that pattern and then just shoved the hair in that way. And it turned out pretty good that way. And I took these little baby booties that I also spray painted black, added a little red pom-poms to them. And then those were his clown shoes. And then for his collar, I just took a scrunchie and just hot glued it to size for around his neck. And then with my paint markers, then I just kind of sketched out his makeup and all that creepy stuff on his face. And I am by all means not an artist, especially a freehand. So, but this was actually it wasn't too bad to do. I wanted his face makeup to be more opaque. So I did end up going back in with a very fine detail paintbrush and painting over the paint markers because they just didn't appear opaque enough for me. but this definitely turned out quite creepy. And it was very easy to do. And imagine the possibilities of the different creepy characters you could do with these. So this next project, using the leftover paint from the potion bottles, I am painting this dollar store pumpkin. It's just a foam pumpkin, and I'm just gonna paint it black. And then this tinsel witch hat, I'm just gonna take off all of the tinsel. And then I'm gonna wrap it with some nautical rope. And there are some like nubbies that the tinsel was hanging on to, and so I did have to go through and cut those off too, just to give it a smooth surface. And I did have to use quite a bit of hot glue to make sure that this stays, but I made this 2 years ago and it's still in very good condition. And then I just wrapped the bottom of the hat with some black ribbon, and then I'm just adding some Halloween accoutrement to her hat, like some bats and spiders and stuff like that. And then I just hot glue the hat to the pumpkin, and I wanted the pumpkin to look a little bit more aged, so I'm just taking some more of that white wax and I'm just going over the entire pumpkin. I do like the black with the white wax because it gives it more of like a grayish look, like a dirty, old, spooky type look. So especially if you don't wait for the paint to 100% dry, like 98% dry, then it looks really cool. And this is how it turned out. This project is super easy and super fun to do. So I just took these ghost wood cutouts and the witch ghost cutouts and a variety of scrapbook paper, and I'm just gonna cut down the scrapbook paper to size to match the wood cutouts. Super easy. Anybody can do this skill level. And I just use glue stick to attach the scrapbook paper to the wood. And then I'm just hot gluing the hat to the ghosts. And then for the noses, I'm just going to add some half wood beads. And I didn't paint them, I just left them as is. And then taking this wood cutout, Happy Halloween sign, I just paint the letters purple to give it a little bit more color. And then I did paint the pumpkin orange. And then I'm just going to attach the little gnomes to this black MDF sign from the dollar store. And then there was a cutout at the top, and since the wood letters are kind of see-through-y also, I just wanted a little something to put there. So I just added some of this ribbon, and it kind of gave it a little extra decorative touch as well. And then I just hot glued the Happy Halloween sign to it. And then to hang this, I'm just using some nautical rope that I unraveled a little bit. And then this was it. That's it. That's how it turned out. And I think it turned out really cute. I really like this. I actually have it hanging on my front patio gate right now. I just love a set of decorative books, and I have made several. And this I actually saw on a blog from Dollar Tree, and they're just taking these little mini, I think it's a 5x7 canvas, and 3 of them, and they're just hot gluing. I just hot glued the 3 together. And then I just painted them black. And then I decided not to get out my Cricut for this one, which I wish I would have. But then I just wrote some random words to look like books using a white paint marker. But if you have stencils or a Cricut, I would recommend using that because it gives it a more professional look and it looks a lot better, especially when you're writing backwards like I did. And yeah, unless you have better handwriting than I do. And then of course I took some more white wax to really age these and make them look old and give them some more characteristic and some more detail. And then I wrapped some twine all around quite a few times for, again, just a little rustic added detail. And then I just added some of these little plastic berries that are purple. And of course I had to age them as well. And same with the little Spidey ring. And this is how it turned out. So these pillows were a pain in my rear when I was making them, but they turn out cute. So I'm using some heat transfer paper. You can get it off Amazon. And when I'm ironing them on, so I just made up this design using Canva. And when I'm ironing it on, I'm using my Cricut heat press, and I had it up way too high. And the fabric I'm using is just a drop cloth. And so what I do is I end up kind of singeing some of the edges. Now I actually end up liking how this turned out. But for the next one, I got out my craft iron so I wouldn't burn it. But I did kind of, so that way the pillows matched. Then I did cut the edges a little bit to give them that vintage burnt look. But definitely learn from my mistakes and read the directions on packaging. And then I just kind of fringed the edge. I did cut down the drop cloth, and then I'm just fringing the edges. And then I'm adding also this buffalo check pattern fabric, and this is all going to be the front of the pillow, because I thought it was quite boxy and blocky with just the drop cloth and the picture, since the paper is white. And then I'm just taking some fabric glue, and I'm just going to go around and hot glue the drop cloth to the buffalo check. And then now I have it inside out, and so I'm just completing the pillow. So the back of it is going to be the drop cloth. And these are super easy to make, and I really like how these turned out as well. My mom puts them out every year for Halloween at her house. And then I just reverse, put them inside out, right side in. And I stuff them, and then I just hot glue them. And this is how they turned out. These definitely have potential to be a lot better also. But I still think they're quite cute. And the design was super easy to make in Canva. I've always wanted a spirit board for my Halloween decor, so I'm just taking this sign and I'm going to give it a good coat of black chalk paint. And this project was so simple to make, because all I did was then just use some gold vinyl, and using my Cricut, I just made the classic words that a spirit board has on them, and then I just attach them to the front of the board, or the sign. And then just added these little wood stickers to the front of it. And of course, I guess I really like those jeweled spiders, because it seems like every year I use them. And this is how it turned out. And I think it's just so simple, so cute, so easy. And you see these in the store for like $30. So here's another set of spell books that I made, and these I also of course painted black. These are smaller. These I got from the Target dollar spot last year, and they were like this hideous gold color. So I just painted them black, and then of course aged them with my white wax. And these have a lot of really nice detail on them too. They're really, really cool looking. And then I was smart and got out my Cricut for these and just used that same gold vinyl and just cut out the word spells. This gold vinyl was a little hard to work with, but we got the job done. And then of course, those jeweled spider rings. I just attached one to the front of it. I guess all my decor matches then, right? Since they all have jeweled spiders on them. I never realized that. You like what you like, I guess. And then I did paint this little skull ring with some purple paint, chalk paint, and then just attached it to the front of it as well. And this was super easy to make, and it really adds, it's cute on a tiered tray or on a shelf. This is all the projects that I made in that particular video, which is in my, it is linked down below and on my channel if you are interested in seeing the full video. And so then I'm also taking these little skeleton heads for this project. And at first I painted them this beige color, but then I didn't like it. So then I just went back and painted them pink. And then I just put them inside this cloche that I did paint gold on the bottom. I think I spray painted it. And then I just stacked and hot glued these skeletons. And then I was just using these foam roses, trying to figure out what colors I wanted. And I just ultimately ended up with going with the black because I really liked the way the black looked with the pink and the gold. And this is another one of those super simple projects, but it's so cute and spooky. So I had one of these wood trucks forever, and I wanted to put a witch inside of it, and it's open and uneven on the bottom. So first I just put one of those tumbling tower blocks at the bottom, and then to close off the truck, then I just used these bigger popsicle sticks and just hot glued them to the floor to make basically like a floorboard. And then I just painted the entire truck black. And the rails I did stains to give them kind of like an old wooden look. And then of course got out my white wax because that's the theme. And then I just added some moss that I spray painted black, some little pumpkins in the back, and of course some spiders. And then for the witch, I'm going to use this skeleton and I'm going to cut off the legs because they were way too long for the truck. And then I also cut the hands off. Well, I cut the arms down because they were kind of long too. And then I just kind of reattached just the arms. So it's more in proportion with the truck. And the orange spiders were really bothering me because of how bright they were, and so I just took some silver paint and I just went over them to kind of tone down that bright orange. And I added a little sticker hat, like a witch sticker hat, and and a little broom in the back. And this is how it turned out. And I thank you guys so much for sticking around and watching this video in its entirety. My wrist is feeling a lot better, and so I am hoping to get at least one new Halloween video out before the Christmas season starts. And so hopefully that'll be coming out in the next couple days. Comment down below which one was your favorite out of this video. And until next time, I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.